This is episode 57 of the Art of the Minds podcast. I'm Sean Oakley.
And I'm Sam Cooper, and if you're not tired of hearing that intro, my lord. You've made it this
57
far.
times
It
in a
doesn't get
row.
better.
So let's jump straight into it. And Sam and I are pretty much practicing a follow-on from last week. I've made some slight tweaks. Sam's brought many droids this time.
I basically brought an entirely new list.
So should we jump into the lists?
Yeah, so what tweaks did you make?
So Hound's had a slightly different loadout. He is now sporting 7th Fleet, Agile Gunner, and Yoda for extra force and force regeneration and free rotates. Click is the same, Contrail is the same. I have downgraded Luminara to Killer in the Clone Z95. For anyone that doesn't know, Killer's ability is while you perform an attack against an opponent that has 2 or less hull points, you may roll an extra dice. If you do, take a deplete after dice have rolled. So he loves A-Wings.
He likes buzz droids.
Loves buzz droids.
He likes the buoys that the FO get.
Yes. He is bringing dedicated passive sensors and concussion missiles because he can have a 4-dice concussion missile if he likes.
And what does downgrading Luminara to Killer get you?
Upgrading Obi-Wan in the Etta to Anakin in the Etta. So getting that extra initiative at I6. I'd say the abilities are reasonably comparable. You lose the ability to generate focuses with Obi, but you can get rid of red tokens with Anakin. So that's pretty. And then he is rocking a shield upgrade, R2D2, Predator, and Brilliant Evasion. So
So we've got a chonky Anakin.
Yeah, anyone who doesn't know what R2D2 does is after you activate, so after you've moved, after you've performed any actions, you may spend 1 charge and gain a deplete token. If you do, you may repair 1 damage card, you may recover 1 shield, or you may remove 1 device at range 0 to 1. So it's effectively 2 regens on shields without having to take the disarm. And if you've timed it right, Hound's going to yeet that deplete. Or you badly miscalculate on a bomb or a buzz droid or something like that, you can yoink that away. So yeah.
You know, it's actually kind of crazy that Anakin with a shield upgrade is in the Etta is literally the same points with Anakin Delta 7, except you also have 12 loadout instead of 10, right?
Etta Anakin has 20 loadout.
Yeah, I mean, if you
if you take off the shield upgrade,
because with the shield upgrade you are Delta stats, right?
Yes.
So this is literally like Delta Anakin, but with 12 instead of 10. I love that.
It's interesting. It's interesting, actually, you say it like that. Because when you say it like that, you and ah whether the Delta with the stress-free double reposition is
I think part of it also comes into the stress-free double reposition at I6, I think is eating Anakin's potential loadout in the Delta. Because it's like, okay, it's still good, and CLT is good. Let's not pretend that CLT is not good.
No, but of course.
But like, it's very functionally very similar ship.
Yeah.
It's just whether I would like if you can leverage the system phase reposition more than the after move reposition, then it's just you just go to the Etta with shield upgrade. Like if you see that as like a random tax on Anakin.
Yeah. So a few more stamps.
So I've brought a droid swarm, but not the usual droid swarm. We have DBS 32C in the droid bomber, with shield upgrade, landing struts, and TA 175, which is a It's the tactical relay that is when one of your ships dies, every other ship at range 0 to 3. Every friendly ship at range 0 to 3 within range with a calculate action gets a calculate token, including the ship who got killed. Hilariously, if he dies at I3, he gets to get a calculate and engage with that calculate. And then along for the ride, we have 2 Magna Guard executioners in the Rogue class starship with proton cannons. Notably, they have independent calculations, so can be coordinated by DBS-32C. DFS 081 with thread tracers, munitions failsafe, and grappling struts, and 3 separatist drones with Discord missiles and grappling struts. So we are rocking it up at I3 with TA-175 and hoping that that's going to be enough.
I mean, let's be fair. That's a hefty amount of ships to get in at I3.
Yeah. And because it is all I3, I like it because you get a lot of you just get a lot of choice on who activates first and who shoots first. Like DFS's thread tracers are suddenly very important because I can be like, well, actually, I want to give everyone locks, or maybe I've got some people with locks, so let's do their shots, spend those locks with the knowledge that DFS is going to get them back. Because missing out on a vulture droid dealing potentially 1 damage, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
Getting some random free locks is extremely useful. But yeah, so yeah, I'm bringing good old Droid Swarm. And everyone can be coordinated by DBS-32C, but most importantly, the Magna Guards can be coordinated by DBS-32C, I think is the important bit. And they have proton cannons for that lovely bullseye shot.
Which is why DBS-32C is my target priority in this match.
Yep, just stop me from getting all that stuff. And also turns off TA-175, right? It's standard. You kill the tactical relay carrier.
I can't arc dodge you if you're then doing system phase reposition.
Exactly.
Start of engagement.
I would argue that Anakin can probably arc dodge even start of engagement repositions.
Yeah, maybe. But let's talk about the game. We are playing Scramble the Transmissions. And Sam was first player for both setup and turn 1, which we'll get to.
Yeah. And so I placed my objective basically 2 and 2 in Sean's left corner. Just said, if you want to claim that turn 2, one of your guys is going to hang back.
Yeah, see, interestingly, I thought about doing the opposite with yours, but then I just thought you park a droid on it, and that droid is happy to sit there.
Yeah.
Turn 2. So yeah. I stuck it in the middle, on your side, on your left, my right, as basically as far towards myself as I can. My actual game plan here was to basically try and hang the majority of my list back turn 1, except for something, probably Anakin, shooting for the middle one turn 1 to claim it turn 2, and then just have that lead, and then force you to come through the rocks at me.
Yeah, but and for me, my plan is, because we'll get to obstacles, is get past the gas clouds to where the rocks are, because I like being where rocks are.
Yeah. See, whereas my hope was that we almost swap sides, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then come back in at each other, because if you've camped out on rocks already, that makes you predictable.
Yeah.
You're turning or you're 2-straighting off. It's easier to line up bullseyes with Anakin and things like that. And then your other ships, can't sit on those rocks and don't like gas clouds and so on and so forth. But yeah, let's get to... Well, rock placement's quite easy. Basically, you went first, stuck a rock in between the centre and the right-hand sort of centre-ish one.
Yep.
I grabbed the one rock and stuck it 2 and 2 as far away from the objectives as possible.
And I grabbed my third rock and put it next to the centre objective.
And then the gas clouds basically end up in a small line on your side of the...
Yeah. Because it's interesting, because I think you're putting it on my side to annoy me. I guess with the side swapping plan, it makes a bit more sense. And I was putting it on my side because I'm going to 5 straight and get past this and then never have to worry about these ever again.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. Because I knew you'd get the first, I suppose, of each pairing, there's nothing that's going to stop at least two of those gas clouds being down. Sorry, one of those gas clouds being down there with the rock down there. Putting them down there, I felt, was the best chance of getting a cluster of obstacles.
Yeah, I can see
which
that.
I feel suits my list better than yours. Like,
Yeah.
if we joust, you win. So,
yeah, I think I can't really argue that one. Because it was interesting to me too, because I was like, I want these gas clouds as close to me as possible because I need to jet past them and get to the rocks where I may be predictable, but I'm relatively like I can stay relatively static, and in this sort of objective game, staying static is generally fine.
yeah, whereas I was just thinking I can, you can't stay static with everyone because you can't plonk
Yeah,
everyone on a rock, and then I can start picking people off.
yeah, that's fair.
But we go to setup, and I have two twos. So Hound goes in the centre, right at the back. My initial plan is likely a stop with him, but it leaves me options either way. And certainly, if I do stop, I can too hard either way, stay stressed without worrying about you realistically being able to get that far down turn two. And then Hound goes on the left-hand side of my board, basically looking to
Killer,
one
you
bank.
mean?
So yeah, killer. Basically looking to one bank, claim the bottom left objective, turn two.
And then it's over to my entire list. So I deploy in droid swarm formation standard. I have my 3 separatist drones lined up because they've got Discord missiles, and behind them I've got DBS in the corner and the 2 Magna Guard executioners behind the base in formation, like a block of 6 formation, leading towards Sean, and I have DFS 081 away from the formation slightly because he has thread tracers, and I just want him to be able to move and fire and not get in the way, and I don't really care what happens to him as long as he fires one volley of thread tracers off at key target.
Yeah. So I set up Click in between Hound and Killer, slightly closer to Killer, but facing Hound 90 degrees. So he can one hard turn one, take 2 target locks, get his ability ready. And then I set up Contrail basically directly above above Click. Basically, my plan is I'm going to shoot forward with him, shoot round the back of the objectives, and try and come at you from multiple angles. Obviously, if I can get all my list up there like the original plan, great. But if you come fast enough, then at least I can try and pincer you. And once I've got someone behind you, it's a lot more for you to think about. And then Anakin sets up as far forward as he can, just slightly to the left of Hound, because I can't set up to jet towards the centre objective. But what I can do is barrel roll in front of Hound turn one, stop Hound, and then shoot up. And that's my plan. And then turn two, I think I've got a nice gap that I can do a hard turn into, still claim the objective. And I realistically think that even with a 5 straight turn in, at most you're getting a maybe 3 range 3 shots at Anakin.
Yeah.
So, and if I'm lucky, nothing. So yeah, that was the setup plan. But on to the game.
On to the game.
And we jump straight into it. And Anakin does do his system phase barrel roll. Hound does his stop. And yeah, Killer does his one bank.
Any voters? Then my entire list jets forward 5 straight, except for DBS 32C. He only does a 4 straight because he doesn't want to stay stressed. And DFS 081 does a 3 straight because I don't want to jet too close into the middle because I recognise that Anakin is there. If Anakin does catch me off guard, like I don't want to just... I don't mind if he dies, but I don't want to feed a vulture to you for no reason.
Yeah.
And everyone calculates.
So Click does his one hard. Takes a target lock onto Anakin and onto Contrail. Because I think those are the ships that are likely to be getting in and tangling with it. Contrail then does a 5 straight, and I boost, and I think that, in hindsight, was a mistake. I boost to the right because it leaves me a nice gap to come into the centre and start trying to plink at your droids on the next turn. But in hindsight, your droids are going to turn in. That's obvious. And I've got space to do a fast straight manoeuvre and boost to the left if I want to. But I think, in hindsight, boosting straight and going for the next gap up and around the back of the gas clouds would have been the better call. Because what I've done is I've made it harder for Anakin turn 2, because he's done a 5 straight. Brings him just shy of the objective, and he boosts. So the next turn, I can do a hard turn to the left. But Contrail's going to be there. And in hindsight, because Contrail's got to move first, I'm going to have to... I can't do a slow manoeuvre and just try and hang back with Contrail, because that's going to get right in the way of Anakin.
Yeah.
So I've kind of scuppered myself. I mean, Anakin can, I suppose, continue straight. Well, not straight. He'd have to boost and then do a bank to the left, I think.
That would slot him in between two of the gas clouds and basically free and clear. Probably taking like a couple of obstructed shots, maybe, but
the problem with that is I then don't have the objective.
Yeah.
Whereas if Contrail wants to come in slowly and claim the objective, then he's likely sitting in front of your list with no tokens. At least Anakin, if he did take a couple of range 3 shots, would have the force.
Yeah.
And if you do plink off a shield or even a shield and a hull, I've then got loads of space to go around the back of that top left rock, trigger R2D2, regen that back. But yeah, that was a slight miscalc.
But you've sort of pigeonholed yourself into not doing that.
Pretty much. We do trade a couple of shots.
I don't think much happens.
I don't think much happens. You fired.
I hit with the thread tracers, and a bunch of people get locks.
3 people pick up locks on Anakin.
Yeah, DFS, the closest Magna Guard and the closest Separatist drone. In hindsight, I should have coordinated that Magna Guard a barrel roll just to get a shot into Anakin.
Yes.
I absolutely should have done.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been a proton cannon shot, but I was planning on DFS firing a thread tracer. So a target lock calculate shot, like, okay, yeah, range 3, but hey, it's Anakin. How often am I going to be getting... how often am I going to be shooting him?
Yeah. So,
but I did not, because I just forgot that DBS could do that. And this turn is when I realised that the Magna Guards are not super good at flying with vultures.
So we roll for first player, and I'm first player, but it literally doesn't matter in this game. We don't overlap on initiative.
I have no system phase to speak of.
So system phase. I do a boost to the right, because I think that you're turning in with a hard turn. Just out of curiosity, do the rogue class have a 1 hard?
They do.
They do. See, I couldn't remember if they did or not. And I thought the likelihood is you hard 2 everyone in.
So, interestingly, what I wanted to do was do the good old formation flip, where I've gone from 3 front too wide, and I wanted to do the 90-degree rotate, where I'm 3 front too wide, but facing across the board. The problem is, I can't do that, because the Magna Guard's 3 hards are red. Which is why I had to very quickly pivot what I was doing, because I was planning on, like I said, like my closest 2 ships would be doing a 1 hard, then there'd be a 3 harding vulture to flank him again, and then there'd be another 1 hard thing. But then when I realised that they couldn't do all the things I wanted them to do, I was like, I need to change this, because DBS 30GC is not quite part of the formation, so if I don't do this properly, he's going to end up bumping into someone. The last thing I need is for my tactical relay carrier to start killing himself. Like, I don't need to help you do what you're aiming to do.
So yeah, I do the boost, because I've dialed in a 4K, and I think you're turning in, and I'm going to 4K behind you. And in hindsight, it's stupid. It's utterly, utterly stupid. Because
Yeah, because like, what if I just one-hearted?
Well, it's not even that. Like,
Yeah.
if it works, great. It's a masterpiece. I'm behind you. I can just plink away, la-di-da, happy days. Anakin can trigger his ability and get rid of the stress. But if it bumps, and there's so easily chance that it bumps, I'm suddenly sat in front of your entire list. Anakin dies at that point.
Yeah, and then that's game over, pretty much. Like most of it. Like,
I mean, at least 75% of my list lives and dies by Anakin. If I really wanted to do the 4K, what I should have done was either boosted straight and 4K'd up behind the gas clouds, or boosted to the left and 4K'd that way.
Yeah, and just gain some distance and buy time for Killer, Click, and Hound to actually get into the fight, because they're like still in the deployment area, and Anakin's across the halfway line.
It's one thing I do struggle with quite a lot is I'm not good at getting all my ships engaging at the same time for that initial engage. I think it's something I need to work on. But yeah, this was an idiotic move. Like, if I really, really wanted to get behind your list, I should have done the system phase boost towards them and 5-straighted.
Yeah.
Because I land on the gas cloud, but I'm behind your list, so I'm not likely getting shot, so the strain's largely irrelevant. And then either I get an ion, and then I'm ioning away from your list, which by the time it's moved, to turn around back would be quite difficult, and I'd probably at least get obstructed shots. Yeah. And then you're facing away from the rest of my list. Or I don't get ions, and then I have the opportunity, I can 2 Talon for a stress-free turnaround, or 1 hard boost.
If Anakin rolls like a hit and gets 1 ion token, you can just ditch it. Chances are you're in range 1 of one of my ships.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, if I really, there are other ways. It doesn't have to be the straight turnaround. But on to the rest of the ships. Killer does 1 straight and claims my bottom left objective. And I think this actually might be a slight misplay as well. Not the claiming the objective, but I shouldn't have used Click as the person to stay behind and do it, because the Z95 is not hugely fast enough to catch back up. What I should have done.
So if Click had done it, because he's got his locks, he's done his useful thing.
Click's got 5 straights into boost. Click can catch back up nice and easy. I should have been bringing Killer forward faster. But hey. Hound does a 1 straight and coordinates a focus to Click with Yoda.
Now, I was a little surprised you didn't do a 2 straight. Just to try and catch up.
I didn't want to get stuck with your ships doing calculate barrel rolls into the flank of Hound.
Yeah, I guess I can see that. Yeah,
and a 1 straight still gives me options to 2 hard left or right. Next turn, or any of the banks. Whereas I think another straight kind of pigeonholes me to going through the straight.
Yeah.
Through the center.
Yeah, but onto my list. The 3s. So, one of my Magna Guards does a 1 hard and calculates. The other Magna Guard does a 1 bank and calculates. DBS32C does a 2 bank, and I try to barrel roll into where I think Anakin might end up. I think I'm like looking at this. There's no chance. One of my Magna Guards would have had to barrel roll, but I just don't think they fit to actually block this.
Yeah.
The Vulture Droids all do 3. The Vulture Droids in the front of the formation all do 3 hards and calculate, except for the rearmost one who does a barrel roll and calculate because he's aiming for a rock, and he just wants to sit there and start basically claiming objectives every single round. And DFS081 does a 2 straight and claims the far right objective that's currently underneath my entire swarm.
Yeah.
And I believe DBS30C also takes a strategy of a target lock onto Anakin.
Barrett rolls into a lock on Anakin.
Yeah. So no coordination shenanigans this round, which is weird to say.
So Click does, I think, a 4 straight, and then barrel rolls to the right because
there's a rock in front of him.
There's a rock in front of him, but next turn a 2 hard clears that stress free. But what I've done is I've stopped Killer being able to do anything faster than a 2 straight on the next turn.
Oh yes, yeah.
I should have gone with the initial follow contrail through the top gap.
Yeah.
But
But at the same time, like I feel it's like you know where Anakin's going. So this to me, when Anakin does his 4K, this to me felt like you were just trying to make sure Click stayed within range of Anakin on the off chance that you
no,
bump.
I see. I don't even think Click's in range of Anakin. That was me just trying. It was trying to keep Click with everyone else, but not specifically Anakin. And I still feel that going the boost up and then a hard turn in next turn would probably get him closer anyway.
Yeah.
Because I have to do a 2 hard, because a 2 bank will clip that rock. Will be damn close. But Contrail does a 2 straight and takes a focus. So I haven't even claimed the center objective because I can't not take a token when your entire list is that close to me.
Yeah, definitely 3 of my ships have a shot.
Anakin does the 4K. It fits. Not much space, but it fits.
Yeah.
I spend force to ditch the stress because there are many, many more enemy ships at range 1.
Yep.
And I'm just not sure. So I'm currently taking 2 range 1 shots, I think. DBS definitely has a range 1 shot.
And one of my Magna Guards might.
And I think that Magna, I think it's close enough. So I barrel roll to the right because I can barrel roll right and go backwards. Mac dodges me out of both of them. And I still get a range 1 shot into the back of DFS 081. Okay, it's not bullseye.
Who does not have a calculate.
So I do the range 1, and I think I spend my last 4, so I'm force depleted already, for hit crit.
I roll blank focus. I pinch a calculate from the Magna Guard to get an evade, and I take hit crit, and the crit is a hull breach, so we're not dead yet. But probably not long for this world.
So we move to Contrail.
Who kills him?
Who kills him? Must have skipped. Yeah. 2 hits.
And then Pinata happens.
But I spent the focus there for those 2 hits. And I don't know. Like, he's dead, so that's good.
Yeah.
But you've calculated everyone else back up, so you know the people you'd stolen from the network are modded again, and now Contrail sitting there with no mods defensively.
Yeah,
that's but then I suppose it's only 3 points. It's
but it's like then it's one of those things where it's like it's only 3 points, but like at some point you're going to have to start chipping away at my list.
Well, yeah, and it's 1 less ship shooting at me.
And obviously trading 1 for 1 is not great, but you're not always going to be trading 1 for 1.
Yeah. But we go to your 3s. And your 3s.
Yeah, so a Magna Guard and 2 Separatist drones fire at Contrail, and I take off the shields in one of the attacks, but the others don't do anything.
So yeah, I think you had 3 attacks, and I rolled really poorly on the first one, average on the second, and like 4 evades on the third. So average overall.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting because Contrail's down to 2.
Down to 2. But you've pinched off a droid, and I feel most importantly, this is probably something you maybe didn't appreciate, is you have popped one of my pinatas when I don't have a good way to use the calculates I get.
Yeah.
Because like this is the advantage and disadvantage of TA175 is that I get tons of calculates when I'm in the scrum, but having tons of calculates when I'm pinging range 3 shots doesn't really help.
Well, yeah.
Especially because I'm not getting them to like defend against let's say Anakin kills a droid and calculates to defend against the rest of your list, but no, I just get a calculate and I don't get to use them.
Yeah. So we go to turn 3. And I'm first player again, not that it matters. Now, I'm slightly concerned that you just hard turn your entire list onto Anakin here.
I mean, I think it is a concern, but like my thinking is Anakin's gone long. Like it's in my head, Anakin is long gone. Like if you want to use system phase barrel roll and 5 straight and then boost and like so. I'm like if I'm like I'll assign 1 guy to it, and if you stick around, then great. But no, we're hound hunting.
Whereas I'm like thinking that what I want to do is system phase barrel roll back in towards your list because I know it fits.
Yeah.
Because I barrel rolled from it, and then hard turn behind them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is my plan. So I do that. Hound does a one bank towards the rock because I know I can stop next turn. And I'm trying to keep the arc on your droids, and I believe I coordinate contrail a focus.
Yep, looks like that happens.
Click does a two straight. Killer does a two straight because it's the fastest move he can do without bumping into Click and takes the focus. But it's leaving him plinking 3 obstructed at most.
Yeah, and then my droids begin to move. So one of my droids moves to the center, claims the center objective. The other 2 vulture droids, one goes. The guy who barreled last round, he just does a 2 straight, lands on. No, so the next one does a 2 bank around the rock and calculates, aiming a Discord missile at Hound. The last one does a 2 straight onto the rock. Unfortunately, bumps into the guy I just banked around the rock. He still lands on the rock, so he's fine, but does take a damage off the bump. The Magna Guard that was just next to Anakin just does a 1 bank and calculates. DBS does a 3 straight and calculates, and the final Magna Guard does a 1 hard turning towards Anakin, just saying like, "Hey, there's a gun here. If you stick around, I'll shoot you."
Yeah.
In hindsight, maybe this probably wasn't worth it, but at the same time, I'd rather try and get you a bump because I know you're going to want to come after DBS, and I'd rather sacrifice a Magna Guard's gun than let you get like massively good shots into my tactical relay carrier. And hey, maybe I'll plink some damage in return.
Yeah, so after that, Click does the 2 hard, which leaves him range 1 of 2 droids. So I take a focus. Contrail bumps.
My droid that ran into the center.
Now, I've got 2 health here. What I should not have done was turn towards your list. I should have turned up behind that gap on the left, like a 2 hard to the
disengage.
left. Disengage. I generally think where it is now, if I 2 hard to the left, at most I take a range 3 shot from that red thing, and then I drop a prox mine on Brown next turn.
Yeah, and he probably dies.
Whereas my thought, I dialed in a 3 bank with him because I thought you might come a little bit faster. So I thought the space roughly where the yellow Magna Guard is would be free.
Right.
And I jump over some people, jump in there, and then drop a prox mine.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, where your ships are facing, it's just easy for you to come that way. I think that the disengage would have been the better call. But hey ho.
And then Anakin 1 hard straight into my Magna Guard.
Straight to your Magna Guard. But that's fine, because that means Anakin's taking a range 0 shot.
Yeah.
And still has a range 1 shot into the back of DBS, who's in Hound's arc, so I'm getting 7th Fleet Gunner, I'm getting the rerolls, I've got the Force. That's still a pretty tasty shot.
Yeah. Like I said, I was with this. I was like, there's not much I can do to stop Anakin doing what he wants to. So my game plan was basically just ignore him, try and kill the rest of the list before Anakin kills me.
I take the red focus because I've got plenty of space behind for blue maneuvers next turn, so being stressed isn't overly worried. If I'd had more force and hadn't force depleted myself, I could have jonked that away straight away because the bumping.
No, I think it's after you execute the maneuver. So you could if you, because that's an action, right? So it's after you execute the maneuver and then you remove the stress. If you then do a red focus.
No, I believe that when you self bump, it's after you execute maneuver, you may perform a red focus or calculate action, then skip your perform action step.
Okay, fair.
So that's the same timing window as Anakin's ability.
Okay.
Which would therefore let you put them in the queue whichever way you want. So you take the red focus, then trigger his ability and remove the stress.
So I guess, do you have to have red tokens to begin with, though?
What do you mean?
Well, like the same way how I can't say I'm going to launch a Discord missile, then coordinate the calculator that I use to fire the Discord missile with a separate strike. Like, if you don't have a red token to remove, can you queue the ability?
Possibly not, actually. I mean, it wasn't a
But you
consideration
have
there, 'cause-
17 billion locks.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah, no, that's
um,
interesting. If you don't have it, then no, possibly not, because you'd need it to enter the queue.
yeah. A
I
question
don't
for
know.
someone else who knows rules.
It depends on what the actual trigger is for it entering the queue. I would argue that the trigger is spend a force.
Possibly.
You have to be able to spend a force.
Like I said, I don't know. I was just thinking like, because that's like it's like the same timing windows, but like to enter the queue, it has to have a certain thing,
Yeah,
isn't it?
but like,
Well, I guess maybe, or is the
Okay.
trigger actually just having more enemy ships around?
like for instance, the example you used with the Discord, your trigger for doing it is spending a calculate.
Yeah.
So if you can't spend that calculate, it can't enter the queue. Whereas the trigger for the actual ability is spending a force.
Yeah.
Which is the way I read it, but yeah, that is a interesting one, and
Bit of
I'll
a random diver,
scour
but
I'll scour the forums later. And...
It was just literally just a thought that popped into my head. I was like, "Ooh, if that's the timing window, I was like, do you have to have a red token to it to enter?" Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
But anyhow, I do take the red focus and don't ditch it. Now I believe you launched some Discords.
Yeah, I launched a Discord missile at Hound. I can't remember which drone. Oh, it has to have been Pink. It has to have been the guy who
believe
banks
it was
around the
Pink,
rock.
yeah.
Because he's the only one that calculates. He lands it on Hound. Like either it's if it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not.
And I believe you coordinated with 32C.
Yes, and I gave a calculate to someone.
I believe it was yellow. Was it? It wasn't. Was it yellow? Had a calculate but tried to barrel roll. Hang on, let's just.
Yes, yeah. I think I tried to barrel roll. I tried to barrel roll in front of DBS 32C just to line the bullseye up onto Hound. It failed, and I took a calculate as well.
So I have a range one shot into DBS 32C with Anakin. Not in the bullseye, so 3 dice. I think I was about to say I think I missed a trigger, but I don't think I did. If I remember rightly, I think I purposely chose not to 7th Fleet Gunner here because I want 7th Fleet Gunner for click shot.
Yeah.
So Click can do the 4 dice into Pink, and if he can pop Pink, bearing in mind he's got a focus and would have fire convergence, that's 1 less shot coming in. I don't think even with 4 dice, Anakin.
I'm not likely to die.
No, exactly. Whereas Separatist drone, but Vulture droid, yeah, reasonable chance of that popping. So it's just the 3. I roll hit, crit, blank. I spend 1 fire convergence to re-roll for a hit, so 2 hits and a crit.
I roll evade focus, spend my calculate for 2 evades. So take a crit on the shield of DBS 32C.
I believe Contrail goes into the same target and rolls hit crit out of hand.
Single evade, so I take crit onto the pink separatist drone because you were now focusing on my vultures.
Yeah, sorry, went into.
So I took a wounded pilot on one of my separatist drones, the guy who banked around the rock, and put a Discord missile onto Hound. So in my head, he's already going down.
I now do the range 1 7 Fleet Gunner shot.
3 hits and a crit.
3 hits and a crit to basically confirm the death because it doesn't matter what you roll.
Yeah.
And he dies.
And then everyone gets calculates.
Everyone gets calculates. So I believe you do your range 0 into Anakin.
Yeah. May as well test the waters, see what happens. I roll a single crit, you roll an evade of some sort.
Well, I rolled 2 focuses and a blank, so I had to spend the focus because I didn't have any force. Yeah. So,
but it's not like you were taking any other shots.
Yeah. So you're Rocky 1.
Yeah, I believe I just start firing into Contrail at this point because he's the one I have the most shots into.
And I believe Blue misses.
Yeah. So my guy on the rock misses. The guy with the range 0 gets 2 hits out of hand, so puts 1 through.
No, because
do you still have focus?
Yeah, I still got a focus.
And you tried dedicated.
Oh, I tried dedicated first on the blank, trying to save my focus because I know I've got another shot. That rolls blank into blank. So I spend the focus. Then looks like yellow range 1's into Contrail.
Yeah. Or I don't, because I'm only rolling 2 dice.
Oh,
what am I doing?
I clicked you.
Oh, you clicked me. Gotcha.
I
yeah.
clicked you to deny you the range
Cool.
1 bonus.
Yeah, so I spend a calculate for 2 hits.
And I roll the wrong kind of paint and some blanks, so contrail dice.
Then I just have a random shot into click and it does nothing.
Yeah.
No, 1 shield, is it? 1 shield.
Yeah, click's taken a shield. Killer has a range 2 shot into the buzz droids, which I'm going to take because I don't have any good shots on other droids.
And you get an extra dice.
And I get an extra dice. So 3 dice. I roll 2 hits out of hand, which is fine. That's enough to kill it. I don't pass the deplete off to Hound because Hound's going to shoot. And Hound, I think range 1's... Oh no, I think I'm going to 32C here because I get an unobstructed shot. So although it's range 3, I think it's the same dice on the same dice.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that Blue's got 32C at range 1 for network.
Like,
so
it's
the same mods.
Yeah, we got calculators for days.
Yeah. I get 2 hits and I put
blank
2
out.
through. So DBS down to 3.
Yeah. So not looking too good. And I get 2 points from the objective, and you get 1 in the end. So we're 6-6.
Sitting at 6-6.
So you know what? I actually can't remember what I do next here.
I know.
I think I start juggling.
I know what I do with
ships.
Anakin, and it's a mistake, but we'll get to that. So system phase. Hound takes a disarm to regen 7 fleet gunner. His days of shooting are over. He is now the full-on support ship. But that's fine because the lat with a purple coordinate and 7 fleet gunner is like one of, if not the best support ships in the game.
Yeah,
it's good. I think Killer does a 2 straight and focuses because that brings him up almost alongside.
He's joining the battle.
I was tempted to reach for that center objective, but what I should have done here was passive censored.
Yeah, it just gives you the option to either.
But I just completely forgot that he had those upgrades and the concussion missiles on, and yeah. So on to your 3s.
So I hard turn a vulture droid into the center, then I barrel roll calculate, just dodging Killer's arc and lining myself up for a rock. My good old yellow Magna Guard, he just does a straight, and I believe target locks Hound, which I think is a mistake. I should have just calculated. Calculating is what I do, but I was like, oh, I can shoot the lat. Cool. Then my second Magna Guard, who bumped into Anakin, just does a 2 hard, and I think I've lined up a bullseye into Killer, so I just take a target lock onto him. DBS 32C does a 3 straight, and I'm going to say beautifully calculates that he's going to jump over a vulture droid, land on a rock, flip the struts, and he does. So I calculate, and then my remaining vulture droid on the rock stays where he is and calculates.
Nice. Click turns in and bumps the front of 32C, which is fine. Yeah. Takes the red focus. Now this is another mistake from Anakin that I was talking about last turn, saying, "Oh, I take the red focus because I've got plenty of space to move in," and I do a 2 bank, which is fine, clears the stress, and I barrel roll in front of to the side of your droid, but it also lines up a range 1 shot on DBS.
Yeah.
What I should have done there was 1-harded, spent the force on his ability because I would have had more enemy ships.
Yeah.
That ditches the stress. Claimed that right-hand objective. I think I'd line up the bullseye on 32C.
It'd be close, but yeah.
So I'd still have 3 shots, or 3 dice, or worst case, if I just miss the bullseye, I've got 7 fleet gunner, so I can still get 3 dice. Personally, I think I would have got the bullseye, which would have netted me Predator. So I've got more mods than I do at the moment. I mean, I got fire convergence anyway, but I think that would have been the right call. And it sets me up better for the next turn because I'm not forcing myself to force deplete myself again because I'm in front of a roll.
Yeah.
So,
although interestingly, what you have done here is completely shut off my plan of lining up a proton cannon into Hound.
By barrel rolling red.
By barrel rolling.
But I think the 1 hard would have done that anyway.
Maybe it's hard to say. Like I'm not sure. I think I might be able to sneakily barrel in front of you, but it doesn't matter.
Maybe.
Uh,
Maybe. But yeah,
maybe.
I still think that's, even if you could barrel roll in front of me, I
Yeah,
still think that was the better call.
yeah. It's because it's interesting because now I kind of know where you're going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you do something crazy like take the rock, which you don't normally see Edders doing.
No, exactly. It's, that's one of those last ditch attempts where you've got to get this for the win condition. But no, I feel like the one hard, or even the two hard, to be fair, would have been.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the two hard on the Etter's blue anyway. So no, it's not. It's the Banks. It's the R4 that gives it blue. But yeah, a hard turn would have been a better call than the bank and the barrel roll. But there we go.
Moving on. But start of engagement, I ping a buzz droid onto killer, I believe.
I believe you do. Brown shoots it with a 3 straight.
Yep.
And Anakin, 7 fleet gunner, range 1's into the back of DBS. I roll crit eyeball blank, I think, and I re-roll with fire convergence the eyeball and the blank into an eyeball and a blank, and spend 1 force for hit crit, 'cause that's all I've got left.
Yep. I blank out. So I take hit crit.
The interesting thing is, as I say, if I'd done that hard turn and lined up the bullseye, I could have predated one of them and fire convergence the other two.
Yeah.
For, when you've only got one, or in fact, I would have had no force then, but I could have re-rolled the 3 dice. So
yeah.
But yeah, I get lucky. You blank out. So you take hit crit, and I believe the crit's a fuel leak, so that's largely irrelevant.
So I might get to shoot a DBS 32C. It depends what Click decides to do.
So I do am an hour about this because I've got a range 1 shot into yellow. But I think to myself in the end that although it's unmodded, I just like you don't have a calculate, so the most you can nick is 1 calculate.
Yeah.
And I just feel like the chance of killing 32C is worth it.
Yeah, absolutely right.
I roll 2
and
points.
Nothing happens. Yeah.
So yeah, you start shooting.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've missed the bullseye on the back dude with killer, which is a little sad. So I just I shoot into Click. Don't do a whole lot. My other one puts a proton cannon into killer and takes the 2 shields off.
Yep.
DBS 32C, I believe, goes. I think I'm just focusing on killer here, trying to plink off that last.
I think I'm being quite lucky in dodging a lot of it, though.
Yeah, I don't do anything. I take the shields off, and that's it. And then killer can either shoot the buzz droid or not.
Which is surprising because I generally thought killer wouldn't survive at this point. Now, I say in hindsight, I really wish I'd passive censored at the start because at this point, I'd trigger passive sensors, I'd take a lock on 32C, I'd fire a 4 dice concussion at him.
Yeah.
And then accept that I'm taking a crit on killer. Yes, he might die. Honestly, even though it would put me slightly behind on points, unless it wouldn't. It would still leave me a point up, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because DBS 32C is more than killer.
But although you've got more ships as well, I feel like killing 32C is worth losing killer. So
absolutely.
So I should have. But I do shoot 32C. I do take the extra dice, but because I don't have the lock, it's only 3 dice, not 4. I fire convergence. I get 2 hits.
And I only roll 1 evade.
So he does die. I do
take
a
crit.
My crit is a fuel leak, so I'm still alive. Except I'm probably not on the next turn. But yeah, and I'm 11-8, but I don't think we have done. I'm 11-8 at the moment. But let's be fair, Click's not
kind of 11-11.
Well, yeah, and Click's not far off, so it's so easy for you to go 14-11 ahead.
Yeah,
you got to do 3 damage. So, and I've not made it easy for me to turn my list or get my lists all coordinating at one
target. Yeah,
one target. And let's be honest, you've got 2 vultures left, but your Magnas are untouched, and that's 7 damage to chonk through.
Yeah, and I guess one weakness of your list is that like actually chonking through a big dude is actually a little tricky for you.
Yeah. It very much can be. I mean, it wouldn't be if I remembered I had things like missiles and stuff, but...
I mean, yeah.
So system phase.
Anakin barrel rolls.
Anakin barrel rolls, and I forget to do 7 fleet gunner.
Yeah. But I think you forget your entire system phase, because you were like, you'd gone
Well, no,
past it, and you're like,
Anakin,
oh wait, no,
Anakin's just barrel rolled. So.
Yeah.
So Killer yeets forwards, ditches his stress. Oh, did I do? No, I think I dialed in.
Inexplicably, I think you bump into the Magna Guard.
Yeah. Take the red focus. Still got the deplete.
Yep.
So I must have
Buzz Droid
must have dialed in a 4.
Yeah, Buzz Droid just flings over to the back of Killer.
Yep. I hard 2 with Hound because I can't blue straight to or land on the rock. This keeps his turret facing your list for the re-rolls. So yeah, and then I've got space to head. 1 straight next turn. I got plenty of space, so that's the plan.
On to the 3. So my lead Magna Guard, Mr. Yellow, he does a 5 straight over the rock, takes 2 damage from the rock, and tries to claim your home objective and fails.
I mean, it was close.
It was pretty close.
The bubble went over the colour and just fractionally missed the actual marker. So
it was close. I'll accept that. I think I was all right looking for it. Then, in the theme of skipping over rocks with things that don't need to, I horribly misjudge movement over a rock, completely invalidating my glorious DBS play earlier. And my Separatist drone does a 2 hard straight through a rock, takes 2 damage, clears his stress, and barrels behind Killer and links it to a calculate.
Yeah, but do you know how annoying that droid becomes then? Because he's just sat there on 1 health, and I'm pretty sure he refuses to die. It's like such a juicy target.
Then my other Magna Guard does a 1 bank, barrel rolls, and calculates and links it to a barrel roll, and just lines up a shot into Hound.
Yeah.
My last Separatist drone stays on the rock because that's what they do.
Click bumps into your red droid because I was trying to 3 bank behind and claim that back objective. Doesn't quite make it, so it takes the red focus. And Anakin 1 hards in because I actually thought this would fit with the barrel roll and the turn in, and it bumps. But I mean, we looked at it. It wasn't on the rock, but it was also that close that I bumped perfectly straight.
Yeah.
So it really must have been close.
Yeah, perfectly straight. Basically range 0 of the rock, but not touching it. So happy days, Anakin.
But annoyingly, range 0 of the droid I want to shoot.
I mean, yes.
Because, I say, if that had been a millimetre back, and that's not a bump, that's a range 1 bullseye into the back of your droid. Lovely job.
You know what's funny?
Yeah?
If I had rotated and the nubs weren't bumping, I reckon you'd have fit.
Yeah, possibly. Possibly. But there we go. Yeah. So,
I ping a Discord missile onto Killer just to make sure.
So this is an interesting choice that you did this because I get that you're making sure, but I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't worth it myself.
So here's my reasoning: is that if you want to make sure Killer is alive, you can do it at Initiative 2, which is after I can't change it, because Hound can shoot a Buzz Droid, and Killer can shoot the front Buzz Droid. Yes, you're depleted, you've got 1 dice, but it's not like Buzz Droids are gloriously gaining agility. So I have this Buzz Droid, I'm behind, running relatively short on time, and a 2 health drone with Anakin behind him has good odds at just dying.
Yeah. See,
so I thought let's make sure that you either have to spend 2 attacks with your ships stopping Killer from dying, which prevents Killer from shooting, which was effectively my thing.
Yeah. Whereas
and also Hound from shooting.
I was never shooting those Buzz Droids.
Yeah.
Because the chance Hound's unmodded. if he wants to shoot the back ones. Killer's unmodded if he
He has
wants
the
to shoot
force.
the front ones. All right, sorry, yeah, he's got one force. And Hound's unmodded. Killer's unmodded if he wants to shoot the front ones. The chances of both of those going through are minimal enough that I think my better choice is trying to shoot your droids and get the points there, considering brown's on 1 and blue's on 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're probably right, but there was just me thinking, like, because I don't know how the turn shooting is going to go, but you will have ultimate choice over whether you want to kill those buzz droids or not, because after Life 3, it's those two guys. Those two guys are the ones who can shoot it.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to risk that, like, Anakin one-shots a droid, and then you're like, well, actually, Hound's not going to bother shooting through the rock at the Magna Guard. Let's just take out the buzz droids.
Also, you've got at least 2 shots that you could take with your droids onto Killer, and you've only got to get 1 through.
Yeah. Well, no, the reason I did this is, I mean, we're probably going over this point a little bit, but I already know Killer is likely dead, and this second buzz droid just means it's really hard for him not to die, and I don't have to worry about him. He's depleted. He'll get a shot. He can shoot my Magna Guard all day, because it's my full health Magna Guard.
But onto the shooting.
Onto the shooting, indeed. And Anakin shoots.
And Anakin shoots, and I think Anakin takes the range 2 shot onto the brown droid.
Yeah.
And this is the point where I realise in the game that I forgot to recharge 7th Fleet Gunner, which is slightly annoyed about. But I'm hoping I can plink that 1 damage through. I roll crit blank, I fire conversions into another blank, and you evade it.
Yep. Happy days. Click, range 0, nothing. And then my droid starts shooting and accomplish very little.
I mean, you've killed Click.
Okay, look. It's a kill Click with a random 2 shots, and then the proton cannon into Hound, I think, just takes off the 2 shields.
Takes off the 2 shields. So Killer does a range 1 shot into the Manga Guard, because it's the only shot I've got. I'm depleted, so I'm down to I'm my normal 2.
Yeah.
And I spend the focus for 2 hits.
You put 1 through. No, you put several through, actually. I've taken quite a bit of damage here. I've lost both my shields and a hull.
That's because, sorry, we did gloss over
Click and Killer.
Click, before he died, range 0 and took your shields, I think.
Yeah.
And Hound takes the range 3 shot into Brown, again trying to plink that 1 damage through, rolls focus blank, spends a force, and you dodge it.
Yep.
And then Click dies.
Separatist drones only live long when they're on 1 health and shouldn't really live.
So now,
if they're on 3 health, they'll die in 1 shot, but on 1 health, they'll live forever.
So where I said yesterday, a second ago even, last turn, realistically you're 14-11 ahead. You now are, plus the objectives makes you 16-12.
Yeah, and I'm lined up to get the 3rd objective.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas if you'd lost certainly the blue droid, which I just feel if Anakin hadn't bumped you would have.
Yeah.
And I'd managed to claim that objective with Click, then suddenly we're in a much happier place.
Yeah.
But hey, at this point, I kind of figured I don't really have much chance. I don't have the ships to basically claim the objectives to stop you just winning on objectives.
I mean, at the same time, though, like, my ships are, like, bleeding out. Like, so from my perspective, I was like, if I have 2 turns where I don't die, I've got this. But, like, I'm not likely to kill Anakin, not likely to kill Hound. I just need to, like, claim objectives and live. And that's hard to do with Vulture droids.
But say somehow Anakin and Hound kill your last 2 vultures. That puts me 16-16. And I don't see a way you don't outscore me at least 2-1 every round for the rest of this.
Yeah, true. I'm just looking like, because for me it's not outside the realms of possibility of you killing 2 vulture droids and then the next turn killing one of the Magna Guards.
Maybe. And to be fair,
like, admittedly, maybe I'm being overly pessimistic over my chances, but like that was my thinking. Like, I need to just live 2 rounds. That's why the vulture droids start moving away and the Magna Guard starts like basically getting away from Anakin because he's the one who's going to kill them.
So Hound does a 1 strike, clears the stress and takes a focus. And
I
then,
two-straight my droids and calculate. Just get them off rocks. And send a Magna Guard straight over the rock again. Take another damage.
and then
And
the
I
other
think I
one,
calculate barrel roll to line up a bullseye into Hound, and then the other one, I believe, does a
bank and claims the bottom left
bank and
objective.
claims the bottom left objective.
So Anakin, 3 banks over your droids and the buzz droids. Claims the center objective and then uses R2D2 to ditch the buzz droids.
Yep.
YOLO. And then we go to shooting, and I think there's literally just the trade range 1 between Hound and the Red Manga Guard.
Yep. So I put a damage through, and you don't.
And yeah, pretty much. So that puts you 17. I don't think I've added me. Yeah, 18, 13 ahead. Now, I don't think I can stop you claiming 2 objectives because you just hard turn blue and claim the center one back.
Yeah.
Hound is too far out to claim an objective. Anakin, maybe. So I look at this, and I look at this for a while, and there's only one way I can win this. The only way I'll win this is I need to claim an objective, and I need to kill
Brown and a Magna Guard.
brown or blue and a Magna Guard.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I've rotated my turret in the end phase. I'm going to hard turn with Hound. That should line up a shot on the Magna Guard. And Anakin is going to have to basically turn around and try and kill a droid while claiming an objective. So it's a tough call.
Not impossible. Like, I never discount random meta stuff.
What I should have done is... So, Anakin's going to do a 2 Talon. Because it's the stress-free reposition. What I should have done in hindsight, and really should have done in hindsight, was barreled Anakin to the left in the system phase.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Because if you block the droid, I can't claim.
A, it blocks the droid, and B, spoiler alert, my 2 Talon lands on the gas cloud.
Oh, yeah.
That would have stopped it landing on the gas cloud. Which means if you've not claimed that objective, I've got the objective I need. I'm free to boost Anakin to line up the bullseye on Brown.
Yeah. Who, for my part, is jetting out of here. He does so my droid does a 5 straight, barrel roll calculate, let's get out of here. Hound 2 hards and focuses, and
Hound should have 2 hard and target locked.
Yeah, that's also true.
But hey.
So my Magna Guards basically turn in and try and get shots on Hound. Like, I don't really have hopes of killing him, but it's better than nothing.
It also tickles me that your target lots from your executioners say me and me too.
Yes, me and me too.
Yeah, and then Anakin does the Talon and clips the gas cloud. It's not by much, but it's a clip, which means I can't attack. I get a strain. I don't have a chance to claim the objective, and that Talon, if I'd done the barrel roll, that Talon would have left me easily range 1 as the center if by some miracle you had been able to claim it.
Yeah,
but certainly would have left me a boost in to be able to shoot. Now, I might have missed the bullseye, but at least I would have got a shot.
Yeah,
and where there's a shot, there's a chance. But yeah. So the moment that landed on the gas cloud, I was like, well, that's game. But we go through the motions.
I put a bit of damage into Hound. My Vulture Droid refuses death.
That brown one was irritating me.
I mean, to be fair, the shot from Hound, he has the most chance to survive out of any Vulture Droid, a little bit. Like 2 dice into 3.
And then, no one dies. You claim the 3 objectives, and it's 13 to 21.
See, that was interesting because from my perspective, I was like, okay, I'm liking the Magna Guards. I like this list. Weirdly enough, as much as I do actually, I think having the shield upgrade absolutely helped DBS OTC live. I
Oh, for
prefer
sure.
Kraken.
Because you would have taken a crit off the first attack,
Yeah,
and if that crit had been structural damage,
yeah,
or
like screwed. But
or
it's really hard not to want Kraken, and you can't have Kraken and shield upgrade.
well, that's a shame.
It is a shame.
But yeah, it was interesting. I quite like I feel Killer would have done more work if I'd remembered his upgrades and not left him out of the fight for so long. Anakin did what he needed to do. I just I'm on the is the drop to Killer from Luminara worth the upgrade of Obi to Annie?
I mean, I don't really have an answer to that one.
No, I don't have an answer to that. Admittedly, I've only played a couple of games with, well, one game with this list and a couple of games with the other, so I need to get some more in. But I don't know is the is the answer to that. Like you lose Luminara's defensive pilot ability, but you gain another dedicated. You gain, technically, if you remember it, more reds, because even without Killer's ability, you're getting the 3 reds from the concussion missile. You gain the I6 of Anakin, so that when you do face against, like the match from last week where I was up against Sun Fag, and I talked about the possibility of heightened perception on Anakin, on Obi, sorry, to combat that. But that's just another force strain for the Etta, so you don't have that worry. I don't think I should have Brilliant Evasion on Anakin because, as our good friend Stuart says, Anakin should never be getting shot.
Yeah, and like I think like that's the theme here. Like, yeah, I shot you once at range 0, and Brilliant Evasion, like honestly, it like doesn't help there. In fact, actually, the one time I shot you, Brilliant Evasion couldn't have helped.
Yeah. The question, I wonder actually whether I just put patience on it.
Yeah.
Let Hound eat the deplete and give myself more force. But yeah, it's. I don't know. A small part of me just wants to be. I want Anakin because everyone likes Anakin, and
I mean, then run it. Like it works.
So yeah, well, I'm gonna play around with it and I suppose I keep wondering whether I should, if I drop Agile Gunner, I can fit Ayla Secura instead of Yoda to give me a focus into a purple coordinate on Hound, but I don't know. There are lots of.
I can actually give you a point of that. I think having 2 force on a 1 agility ship is functionally the same defensively as having a focus into purple coordinate. Yes, it'll help you with the attack, but you literally said this game that you forgot to 7 fleet gunner a bunch of times. So
Yeah, that's true.
are you really getting value out of that focus on attack?
No, but it wasn't. It's not the focus for Hound per se. The focus is just to help on that 1 defense. It's more the having the purple coordinate. Well, I suppose if you're doing
like I said, if you're doing it for defense, having 2 force is basically the same. Okay, yeah, there'll be that turn where you burn through both.
Well,
sometimes.
that's it. Whereas,
but on the flip side, sometimes you'll have 2.
Whereas Ayla, I can do it every single turn, and who knows, her ability may trigger every now and then.
Well, let's not get excited.
I mean, it's possible. You might end up in a Lats bullseye.
Yeah. Like, I think you'll get more use out of Agile Gunner and having the 2nd force.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, interesting learning point. A couple of mistakes to look at, but not a bad game.
Yeah, I like Magna Guards. I like the rogues. Like they're chonky.
Yeah.
Like think about it. If these were hyenas, like I guess they would have been previously. Like one's dead, and the other's not doing too good.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, yeah, their munitions would be slightly more useful, but like proton cannons are scary. I mean, you want to sit in my bullseye?
I'm not going to talk about the Magnas too much because I'm pretty sure the majority of the damage done to them was you yeeting them over rocks.
No. That's neither here nor there. The fact that I have the shields means I can yeet over a rock, is what you should be saying.
No, I'm not trying to pick up your list. I'm trying to shy away from the fact that going, oh yeah, I was close to killing that one. I mean, I wasn't, but you were close to killing it before me.
I only took 2 damage off rocks.
Did you? I thought you took more than that.
Well, okay, it was spread out over 2 Magna Guard. I took like 4 in total, and 2 on separate. I took damage on vulture droids from rocks, for Christ's sake. This is not a good rock day.
Right. Well, on that note, guys, we will wrap it up for this week. So thank you very much for being with us as always.
Yeah, and
we'll be back next week. Possibly another one of us playing each other, or we'll see if we can get someone else to play. I'll see if I can get a 10 online during the week and
see if I can get a random game. Explore the Magna Guards.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we'll call it there. So we'll see you next week.
Yeah, ta-ta.
Bye.
Bye.